introduction. And yeah, that's true. I do parkour for like 15 years, actually more than I know React Native. And today I'm going to be talking about upgrading React Native from version 06 to 073, but let's call it 60 and 73 because we all know that React Native is still not in V1. So um, what could go wrong? And it seems that actually quite a lot of you answered that upgrades are really like the pain point in React Native. This is the results of survey State of React Native from 2023, and upgrades are fourth on the list. If you look a year before, it's actually in the first place. So I have a question for you. So if we can turn the light on for a while, can we? Yep. Um, who of you have issues with upgrades in React Native? Yeah, right. And those whose hands are down, the question to you, you didn't have any, right? Yeah, okay. So my story, I mean, from my experience, like upgrades are hard, thanks. And if you look into React Native versions, you can see that the version 60 is the last one which has some, like, let's say, reasonable documentation, and everything below is in this kind of danger zone place where when you try to go there, it's something like that. Actually, it was like that for like last week, until last week. Then they fixed it, but it says something, right? And we have asked the community about what are their strategies for upgrading React Native, um, and I gave this context that I'm now going to give to you. That we had this app that was unused and unmaintained for 5 years. So the like assignment was to upgrade it and make it live again. And what the community gave us was kind of what we actually knew from our experience. Let's go through it. So in this kind of updates, you can like rewrite the whole thing and step by step add new functionalities that should be there. You can try with going step by step as well. We have these kind of middle steps in between. But in general, the like vibe was good luck, mate. It's not gonna be smooth. So what could go wrong? Quite a lot, right? But before I start telling you our story, I'm gonna quickly introduce myself. I'm Bart, and yeah, as I was introduced, it's Widlarz. It's hard to pronounce, I know. I'm the CEO of the Widlarz Group. We are React Native agency. We do work such as this. So we upgrade, add features to the app. We do some performance optimizations and stuff like that. But you may know us from the community work that we do. We've been basically maintaining, and we created React Native Notificated, React Native emoji keyboard. We contributed a lot to React Native maps, and the last but not least, to React Native video, which actually gonna be going live with the new version, stable version v6 quite soon. And if you want to get access to Interplayer, which was mentioned today on the previous talks, you need to upgrade to v6 definitely. And in next versions, we also want to um, have the new architecture support fully. So this is just a matter of time. But let's get back to our story. So here we are. Like, no code changes for 5 years. Apple has pulled the app from the store. Um, and the assignment is to make the app live again. But this is just the tip of the iceberg because, like, the issues we faced, there are much more of them. Like the wrong tool versions, navigation version 3, deprecated SDKs, unmaintained forks, library patches, React Native upgrade itself, custom modules, broken CI/CD, outdated packages. Oh gosh, you see, right? So let's start from the beginning. We need a plan, and we need to upgrade React Native itself. So the possible approaches that we have in it's like kind of the like ideas we brainstormed and from our previous experience. In this case, we decided to go head first and upgrade to the latest target version. So the battle has begun, right? We started the same way as most of you would. That is, with the good old React Native upgrade helper. Yeah, we're feeling pretty confident, ready to fight, so we select source and target version. And that is not the only battle preparation we had. We really wanted to use Flame AI as an additional AI assistant. And Flame AI really does help sometimes and can speed up some changes. And its interactive mode is totally awesome. So we started conducting the upgrade together. I mean, we and Flame AI, our team and Flame AI. And time passes by, some things go smoothly, some not. And Flame AI, for example, did not properly edit some files. Like an example, changes required to be done in pod file were not applied to all of the targets in the file. It also skipped some other files, for instance, gem file. We had this hypothesis that it might be because in the app version 60, this gem file was added manually, and the example app in the upgrade helper, it wasn't there at all. But never mind, we just needed to modify it by hand, and that's what we did. By the way, for Flame AI help, I was charged something like $2, and it saved me like more than 1 hour, probably like 2 hours of mundane and error-prone work. And you can guess, like my hour is much more than $2, right? So it was helpful. And while Flame AI helped a lot, we decided that some changes we'll do manually, like in case of Xcode project file. Like we all know that these diffs can be huge, hard to reason about. So I wanted to verify everything closely by myself. One thing that I missed, though, was updated build script phase, which was changed compared to how it worked in previous React Native version. But besides these issues, and a couple of other issues with wrong tool versions, particularly with CocoaPods, we managed to upgrade React Native itself. So it means we're done, right? That's the end of presentation. But no. We're not done yet. Sorry for the confusion. Yeah, we have some other stories, right? We still have something to tell you. Now that we upgraded the React Native itself, the time has come to tackle all the dependencies. And you see, this app is actually not a simple to-do list app. This app is its main functionality is audio and video calls. So you can imagine. And it was like 5 years ago. And also, you may ask, probably maybe you're already asking on Q&A, why not Expo? Like, 5 years ago, if you wanted to build something which uses so many native elements, export was totally uh, mm, out of reach actually. So this code base doesn't have any code expo code. But let's get back to what we have. We have tons of outdated packages, right? What are we gonna use? We're gonna run align depths to see what needs to be upgraded, and with like one of the multiple build time errors, this was caused by old version of netinfo package. And we were prompted by this align depths to basically upgrade from V3 to V11. Quite a distance, right? Quite a distance. And we did that. Like, now let's see what's gonna happen. It says so. I'm gonna do it. So we were excited to see what's gonna happen, and the build time error was actually gone, and we're good to go fix other build time issues with other libraries. And once we resolved all the build time errors, we tried to run the app, and it turned out that the info was throwing an exception runtime. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? It happens if you don't read all the changelog of all these remaining packages. It occurred that add even listener method no longer existed. So yeah, someone should have read this changelog or compiled TypeScript. And actually, in this code base, there were TypeScript, quite well-maintained code base, that is, right? But no worries, we did that later. We compiled, we read the docs, add them in the places where it was needed. But in this kind of interactive approach, you can actually, read the errors and fix them step by step instead of reading like 100 pages of documentation in changelog that happened in the community for the last 5 years. I can tell you this changelog is huge. So quick look into the error docs, and we fix that, right? And that's how we basically handled most of the community dependencies. We've got React Native upgraded. We got most of the community dependencies upgraded, but some libraries can't be updated. Like, why? I mean, some they basically no longer exist. And I have a question for you. If you can turn the light on for a while, do you know React Native Fabric? Hands on? Yeah. So now it might be a confusion, right? Do you mean like the new renderer that we were talking about before? But no, I mean React Native Fabric, the let's say toolkit for analytics and crash logs that was later moved to Google Firebase ecosystem. So that was over there, and it was very old. So we basically needed to migrate, right? But no worries. In this case, the issue wasn't in changing all the code base, because in the code base there were this code wrapper. So on JS side, there were just one place where it was used. So we changed that, and we made some adjustments in the native code, similar to how it worked in Fabric. And yeah, that's how we migrated most of the dependencies to new ones. And we realized that there are not only these community dependencies and these no longer existing dependencies and those like React Native dependencies that were moved from React Native to community. No, there were also outdated internal SDKs. Like, you can sometimes think that open source tools aren't documented enough. But listen this, in case of community libraries, you can always reach out to some other community members, read the docs, issues. But like in our case, um, there were no documentation for these SDKs, and they were under heavy development because of the web app, which was not part of this mobile Android iOS React Native code base. Don't ask me why. It was like that. But the SDK was under heavy development, and we were using the old one. And the changelog between 5 years from now until now doesn't exist. Like imagine, it's like internally, these tools are built in front of the whiteboard over the coffee. People were just throwing things like, oh, hey, Mo, I'm going to basically update the API. Okay, no worries, just send it over to me. Oh, yeah, okay, it's sent. And sometimes this is the way it's handled because the only people who's using it are a few developers or like dozens of developers, but not like um, thousands of people as it is in open source. So we reach out to the team that exists. It's another team, not the team that built the SDKs 5 years ago. And we basically tried to figure out all of these errors and try to understand in this kind of reverse engineering style of thing what has changed and why, which is like the most important thing here. Because when we ask them about the changelog for this last 5-6 years, they said that no, there's no anything, not in this case. But yeah, we handled this in this more like collaborative way than just reading this, changelog. But it affected the flows of video audio calls a lot. And by the way, while we are at flows and screens and navigation, when I said that we updated most of the dependencies, I meant that we decided to stick to navigation version 3 for now. So like the API is different, very different than it is now. And tried to make it work with React Native version 73. Is it possible? Yeah, like, well, let's see. Within all the API changes in React Native made these past few years, there was remove event listener method that was removed from the dimensions module. And we all know that properly handling event listeners is crucial to not having any memory leaks. So React Native Navigation version 3 was calling this method, and we were experiencing crashes. Like we're in this hacker mode right now, so don't judge me, but we really wanted to keep this navigation version 3. Why? Because it's so coupled with the whole architecture and with the code base. You can't actually turn it off for a while and give some more time to do it later. Like it's not the thing that you can basically label to do later. So we temporarily fixed, let's say, this issue by applying a patch to navigation with a patch package library and used new API. A patch for navigation was not the only one we added. We also needed to change an old unmaintained version of React Native internationalization. But keeping navigation version 3 was actually not the only thing we needed to do. And it was more challenging than we thought because we also needed to kind of fix deprecated React Native safe area view library, which was used by one of the module of navigation. A fix for error was basically in a newer version. So now we needed to hack it in a way that it forces navigation to use the newer version. And we did that by adding a resolution, simply redeclaring version and package JSON like that. As a result, we could stay on version 3 of navigation and some old internationalization library for a little bit longer. Oh, and I didn't mention before that all these changes until now were running locally. So if we want to build a project or run linters, we couldn't trust the pipelines to support us. Since a Mac Mini runner had been that the pipes were running on were somewhere in the basement of the office, and it's gone. Like literally, nobody can find it. And you didn't want to really have this, in-house setup again. We decided that with the client that don't do it. We need to migrate to some cloud solution. And you have some options like Expo EAS, and some are for some tools it's too late, like App Center, for example. Thanks for being here. Yeah, but this tool is out now, so you're gonna need to migrate to something else as well soon. And here, I really would like to finish here and say that we covered everything and everything is fixed, but we can't do it, and we had even more challenges here, like team morale. You can imagine, but also wrong tool versions. I mentioned CocoaPods. Most of them were over there, but not only. Unmaintained forks. Give me a second. I'm going to talk about it in a second. Reanimated version 1. Who remembers this lovely DLS? So like special language for animations almost. Permissions API has changed. That's also something that it affects the flows of mostly video calls, right? You need to ask for permissions. But also account management risks. You need to really have this partnership relationship with the client when you communicate the issues that are so abstract. And let's get back to unmaintained forks. For a while, I mentioned video calls. So some of you may know WebRTC. Some of you maybe even know React Native WebRTC. In this case, we had this fork that was 5 years old, with no documentation and nobody to ask for some help. And this part is actually still in progress, but we're in good track to also deliver this. And here I wanted to say that React Native community is awesome, because all these tools that we have used are like great help. I wouldn't imagine working without them. Really, thank you. The community, great. But with all of these tools available, upgrading is still a pain point, and you really need to use some more tools than that. And particularly your brain, right? Skills and experience, and time and motivation to successfully handle missions like that. So from all of the upgrades, that was definitely one of the most challenging that we did, and we've been doing currently. But I don't need to tell you how important it is to keep your versions updated. That was told before on other talks when we were discussing that if you want to have better performance, you need to have the newest React Native, and the libraries need to be upgraded as well. Here, during this presentation, you've got a chance to hear out the story of this particular case, and we have learned a lot during this and other cases like this. So we have gathered these tips, and if you want to learn more, actually, you need to see this. We're going to be publishing this ebook. They're going to guide you through some React Native upgrades based on our experience from the cases that we had. And we even have some downgrade situations. So yeah, I really want you to basically not having the same stress and so much time spent on things that can be documented somewhere. This is like the tentative plan that we have here. So there will be time-saving tips, things that you don't read in the docs of tools, so like enhanced documentation, strategies for different approaches, and I really want to also add some time estimates on different approaches so that you're ready like to discuss with the managers. Also some communication tips when it comes to discussing with business and managers and our real stories. So basically that's it. Thank you very much. And you can reach out to me. I'm here. You are awesome. And I'm happy to answer your questions from the Q&A session. Thank you.